Imagine a world where every piece of human knowledge, medical breakthrough, philosophical debate, mathematical formula, and every map of the known stars was kept in a single room. For nearly 3 centuries, that room actually existed. It was the Great Library of Alexandria. It was the intellectual crown jewel of the ancient world, housing hundreds of thousands of scrolls. Geniuses like Eratosthenes, who calculated the circumference of the earth, and Euclid, the father of geometry, walked these halls. But then it vanished, burned to ash, leaving behind one of the greatest historical detective stories of all time. Today, we are stepping back into the ancient Mediterranean. We are going to reconstruct the lost library using the cutting edge of visual imagination, diving into its radical architecture, the aggressive procedure used to collect its wealth of knowledge, and the truth behind its catastrophic destruction. Founded around 285 BCE by Ptolemy the First Soter, one of Alexander the Great's top generals, the library wasn't just a standalone building. It was part of a much larger institution called the Mausion, a temple dedicated to the 9 muses, the goddesses of the arts and sciences. Architecturally, it was designed to be a self-sustaining city of the mind. The complex featured covered walkways for peripatetic lectures, grand dining halls where the world's sharpest minds ate together, quiet lecture rooms, and communal gardens. But the heart of the structure was the bibliothèque. The walls were lined with niches or plutei, specialized shelving units designed to hold papyrus scrolls away from dampness. The air circulation was a triumph of ancient engineering, utilizing specialized architectural vents to keep the Mediterranean humidity from rotting the fragile papyrus. It is estimated that at its peak, this structure held upwards of 400,000 scrolls, effectively acting as the first universal database of human civilization. How do you collect all the world's knowledge in an era before printing presses or the internet? The answer is a procedure that can only be described as intellectual piracy. The Ptolemaic kings were obsessed. They enacted a strict royal decree. Every single ship that docked in the harbor of Alexandria was subject to immediate search. But the guards weren't looking for smuggled spices or weapons. They were looking for books. If a ship was found carrying a manuscript, the text was seized and rushed directly to the library's scriptorium. There, an army of scribes worked around the clock to make a perfect word-for-word copy. And here is the kicker. The library kept the original, rare manuscript and gave the cheap copy back to the ship's captain. They even scoured the markets of Athens and Rhodes, buying up entire libraries of wealthy individuals. If you possessed unique knowledge, Alexandria would find a way to take it. For centuries, pop culture has taught us a singular tragedy, that Julius Caesar accidentally burned down the Library of Alexandria during his war with Pompey in 48 BCE. According to the legend, Caesar set fire to his own fleet in the harbor to escape encirclement. The flames spread from the docks, caught the wind, and consumed the Great Library, erasing human progress overnight. But modern archaeology tells a much more complicated and, frankly, more depressing story. The library didn't die in a single cinematic inferno. While Caesar's fire did destroy a warehouse of scrolls near the docks, the main library likely survived. Its true destruction was a slow, painful death by 1,000 cuts. It suffered from centuries of budget cuts, anti-intellectual purges by various emperors, religious riots, and repeated military sieges that slowly chipped away at its funding, its scholars, and its collection. By the time the final remnants were cleared away centuries later, the great institution had already faded into a ghost town. The loss of the Library of Alexandria is often lamented as a dark age catalyst, a moment where humanity took 10 steps backward. We lost the original plays of Sophocles, the complete histories of lost empires, and early scientific theories that might have pushed the Industrial Revolution forward by 1,000 years. But the idea of Alexandria survived. The concept that all human knowledge should be unified, preserved, and made accessible is the direct ancestor of the modern university, the public library, and the internet you are using to watch this video right now. The physical walls turned to dust, but the blueprint of modern civilization was born right there on the shores of Egypt. If you could retrieve just one lost book from the Library of Alexandria, what secret would you want it to hold?